Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today, as you guys can see up on the screen, I wanted to talk a little bit about Kaiser. Obviously, Mad Lions has been a really up and down team this season. Very interesting team after being really an unexpected spring champion over in the LEC, going to MSI, doing pretty well, especially considering how Worlds kind of went for them last year to go to MSI, to have a respectable international performance. Maybe it came up a little bit short of LEC standards or where the LEC would have liked to have been. Obviously, they wanted to make it to the finals. They wanted to be competing for the title, but all things considered, I think it was a pretty good run for Mad Lions. They have definitely come a long way in the past couple of years, being in the LEC and everything. Things have been crazy, and a lot of people just kind of assume that this team who came up together is going to stick together, but this team made some roster moves this past offseason, and they may make some roster moves going forward. Again, depending on how the summer split goes, the rest of it, the playoffs, and depending on how Worlds goes as well, they might make some changes. Some players might make some changes, and I want to be just kind of running through what the future might have in store for Kaiser today. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content so you guys don't miss out on anything, and consider checking out my Patreon over at patreon.com/IamGerm if you want to go that little extra mile supporting myself, my channel, and my content. With that being said, here we go, getting into today's video. So why this video comes up and why I want to talk about Kaiser specifically and Mad Lions specifically is he's going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, free agent in this 2022 free agent class for League of Legends, specifically European League of Legends. He might be the biggest free agent. When we actually go over here and look, we will see Kaiser right here. His contract is expiring in November of 2021. That is right after Worlds this year. Also, Karzi, his contract is going to be expiring as well. So Mad Lions is going to have some decisions to make. Obviously, they would like to bring back Kaiser. If they want to, they're going to try and bring back Kaiser. I'm not so sure exactly what's going to happen with Karzi. Probably going to depend on, again, how he looks in the summer playoffs, how he looks at Worlds. I think Karzi is pretty replaceable. Kaiser, I think you would be, obviously they would really struggle to replace him. I think, Humanoid and Kaiser have been the foundation of this team. What this team has been built around, it has been a part of their come up and their success. Now, obviously, El Yoya figures to be a big part of this team's future now, really that core three for this team. But now their contracts are coming up. Their contracts are expiring. And to me, it is just very interesting that at this point, Kaiser has still not renewed his contract. And I mean, if he hasn't renewed by this point, it doesn't seem like he's going to. It seems like he will at the very least be testing free agency. Now, that does not mean he will leave Mad Lions. It means potentially he is curious of like fielding offers. Maybe he wants to see how much money some other teams would offer him. Maybe he wants some other teams to bid up his contract on Mad Lions, and then maybe Mad Lions either would or would not be able to match that. Maybe they would or would not want to match that. Maybe Kaiser would or would not want to leave. Who knows? But it does seem like he's going to be testing free agency, which is very interesting. Again, maybe that means he's interested in leaving. Maybe it just means he's interested in getting more offers. Maybe it means he's trying to leverage it into more money. Who knows exactly? Because obviously most people are going to be like, oh, why would you want to leave the LEC champions? Why would you want to leave the MSI representatives? But I don't think many people, expect Mad Lions to just keep being there year after year. Like right now, you already see Rogue and Fnatic are the top two teams. And are Mad Lions the favorites to win the summer split? Are Mad Lions a team that's expected to go to Worlds and have some crazy result? Like no, just because they found some success doesn't mean that all these players have to be there forever. I mean, if Caps could leave Fnatic after a Worlds final appearance, then Kaiser could leave Mad Lions. It absolutely could happen. Now, where are some of the options that he could go? I think that is kind of interesting to talk about. Obviously, one of the big spenders and kind of people who would be throwing big offers at him right away that pops into my mind is thinking about North America, thinking about the LCS. Would there be any LCS teams that make sense for Kaiser? So when I kind of look at them, TSM, they have Sword Art under contract for next year. I don't really think that would make much sense. I don't really think they're going to be moving on from Sword Art. So probably not TSM. Team Liquid, same thing there. They have Core JJ locked up for the future. He's kind of their franchise player. I don't really see Team Liquid being an option, and there's not that many big spenders in the LCS. Those are two of the biggest ones right now. Cloud9, They have Vulcan. I don't really see them moving on from Vulcan either. They don't really have import slots available. Who knows what they're going to do with Blabber, with Sven, with Perks. We don't really know. Cloud9 doesn't necessarily seem like an option. I think the only North American team that could maybe even relatively be an option for Kaiser, but I still think it is an absolute long shot and very, very unlikely, is actually 100 Thieves. I think if they did want to go after a guy like Kaiser, if they did think that they could coax him in, I think Kaiser would be an upgrade over Huhi. I think it would make them a better team. I think it would be interesting. What they would have to do in this scenario would be to call up their academy jungler in Kenvi, who's a very, very hyped up prospect, a guy who a lot of people are excited about. He's going to get a shot at the LCS at some point in the future with some team. Maybe it's with 100 Thieves, maybe it's not, instead of Closer. Now, Closer has been very, very good for 100 Thieves this year, but, when 100 Thieves was maybe not so good, Closer didn't look so good. I think he is solid. I think he's a good jungler, but I think he is replaceable. I don't think he's so good that he's irreplaceable or anything like that. And if Kenvi is going to be an up-and-coming talent, if he's going to be a domestic talent that then allows them to, go and get an import, and Kaiser could be a good fit for this team, I think that would be kind of interesting. Again, I think it's very, very unlikely. I absolutely do not think that is going to happen, but I think if I heard Kaiser was going to North America, I think that would be the most likely landing spot. Now, obviously, the LEC teams are going to be way more likely, and I think there's actually a couple of decent spots where I could see Kaiser going. First up, starting up at the top with Fnatic. Hylissang has an expiring contract coming up in this offseason. If Hylissang does decide to move on from Fnatic for whatever reason, or Fnatic decides to move on from Hylissang, which I think is becoming more and more unlikely, especially now that Fnatic's in first. Fnatic is probably going to be an LEC championship contender at the very least. They're probably going to go to Worlds. I think they will do decently at Worlds. So I assume they will probably be hanging on to Hylissang, and I assume Hylissang will want to stay, but remember, he only signed a one-year deal this past offseason, so it's not like he's locked into them for the long term. We'll see how that goes. I think Kaiser, if Fnatic is looking for support, obviously I think Fnatic and Kaiser would be a great, great fit. I think that would make a ton of sense. Next, I think Rogue makes a ton of sense for Kaiser as well. I think Rogue would be so, so nasty. Now, yes, Trimby coming in has been decent for them this year. He's been solid. He's had some very, very good moments. He's had some not so good moments as well. He's looked like a rookie at some points. And just thinking of Kaiser being paired up with Hansama, that would be nasty. This Rogue team is very, very good. They went out and got an upgrade in the top lane in Odoamne last offseason, and if they're looking to upgrade again, Kaiser for Trimby would absolutely be an option. Now, would they have the money for this? Would they want to spend that kind of money? I don't know exactly how it's all going to work out. Would Kaiser even want to go to Rogue? I'm not sure, but it would at least be an option. I don't think Misfits is an option. Obviously, staying with Mad Lions would be interesting, would be good for him. It's a team he knows. And then finally, I think G2 would honestly be another kind of crazy, kind of interesting option. If they do decide to move on from Mickey, who's had an up and down year. Mickey has had, honestly, at certain points, certain games, certain times, I think he's looked as bad as really he's ever looked. And if G2 kind of falters and doesn't have success this year and they're looking to make changes, Mickey could be one of the guys that you go out and replace. Now, you wouldn't just move on from Mickey. You're not just going to kick him unless you have a replacement ready to go, unless you have somebody in mind. And if G2, if Carlos, whoever talks to Kaiser and knows that they can maybe get him over to G2, Kaiser Reckless would be an absolutely disgusting lane, and I think he is absolutely on par with Mickey, if not better than Mickey, especially at the current time. Now, if you're looking at whole careers, Mickey's, probably a better support overall. He's had a better career, but what have you done for me lately? Kaiser has been looking pretty good. He's a huge carry, an MVP caliber player for Mad Lions, and him going over to G2, I think could be very, very interesting. Now, all in all, honestly, if I had to pick, if he was going to leave Mad Lions, I think Rogue would probably be the most likely landing spot, but I think Fnatic and G2 are both absolutely feasible and possible landing spots for Kaiser. Again, he has that expiring contract. He hasn't re-signed. Maybe he'll re-sign. Maybe he'll come back. But maybe he's looking to move on from Mad Lions and play for a bigger, better org, play for more money, play for better chances at Worlds or titles or whatever. It could be interesting. And just know that Mad Lion fans, LEC fans, he's going to be one of the biggest free agents this offseason. So this is something that people are going to be talking about. Definitely drop a like if you guys did enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so, so much. Leave a comment down below. Where do you think Kaiser's going to be playing in 2022? Do you think he's going to be back at Mad Lions, somewhere in the LEC, somewhere in the LCS? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out my Patreon over at patreon.com/IamGerm. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!